Okay, so as everyone is aware, we went through a worldwide chip shortage. Um, since COVID started, there's been problems on the supply demand. There was a plastic shortage, a silicon shortage, which caused a massive chip shortage for the whole world: computers, PLCs, all automation equipment, anything that runs off a chip pad has been affected. We are slowly recovering out of it. Um, since the start of 2023, or since the start of September 2023, we have been having a massive improvement on our stock availability. The Mitsubishi FX and IQF series are 90% back to normal stock levels. The Mitsubishi Q series and IQR series backplanes and power supplies are still a bit of a problem, but it is catching up rapidly. Our Mitsubishi VSDs are nearly back to normal levels. HMI is also 90% back up to standard stock levels, and servos also back to 90% stock levels. So MRJ4s, off the shelf availability, MRJ5, some of the ranges are still a bit problematic. Earlier this year, Mitsubishi has launched a new member to the FX family, or the IQF family, which is the FX5S. So there's a new product to us as well. So part of the FX5 family, we now have 4 members, which is the FX5UC, the FX5U, FX5UJ, and the FX5S. I have a unit here. We'll send it around. You guys can have a look at it. It's a very compact PLC, much lower in programming space compared to the 5U, limitations on I/O, but still a brilliant product. One of the focus points that we are moving on the Mitsubishi side as well is compatibility with the IoT world, and that is for remote monitoring, sending data to the cloud, controlling devices from the cloud. So we're also on the Mitsubishi front looking into that technology, bringing it into our products. Some of the products making it capable that we've already launched is the FX5-eNet module. The new version that's available now comes with MQTT built into it. It can send emails out, does SLMP function up to 32 connections. File transfer, can act as a server and a client. Time setting function, web server functionality. So the presentation that they've done earlier, they connected to the PLC via the FX5 web server. So the eNet module gives you also expandability onto that web server. We have a built-in security function where you can allocate that only a specific IP address can connect to the unit. Anything else, it will block out. So also focusing on security for the IoT side of it. Simple PLC communication, CC-Link IE field network basic up to 32 stations, where the FX5U will do up to 16 stations, the 5UJ up to 8 stations, and the 5S up to 8 stations. So for CC-Link IE field basic, we don't have slaves anymore, we have stations. And then we're supporting BACnet. For the IQR, We also have a module called the IoT Gateway, which is an existing module where they changed some firmware on it. So it's our OPC UA server or OPC UA client module, and they've added MQTT functionality onto it, connectivity to the Microsoft Azure IoT Hub and to the TeamViewer IoT Hub. So back to the FX5S, it's busy passing around. So the product comes standard with an Ethernet port. You have your standard run stop reset switch, a mini USB connector for programming, or you can program it off the Ethernet port. So very similar to what we've seen on the previous generations of FX. The FX3 also had a small one, that was the 3S. So this is basically the replacement for the 3S. Expandability onto the system. So on the left-hand side of the PLC, we can expand 2 communication modules or a maximum of 4 analog modules. On top of the PLC or in front, there's a black cover that comes off, and you can also add serial communication or a memory card module to it. Peripheral devices to connect to GOT. So just to give you an overview of the models that is available. So we do the 30, 40 and 60. Both available or all of them available in AC and DC power supply, and then relay outputs and transistor outputs. If we compare it to the rest of the FX5 family, the FX5S can only expand up to 60 points of I/O, 48,000 steps of programming, can support 4-axis pulse strain on servos, and has a 84 nanosecond processing time or scan time. The 5UJ can expand up to 256 I/O points, also 48,000 steps, only supports 3 access controls for servos and 34 nanoseconds scan time. The FX5U and the 5UC, which are just the 5UC is just a compact version of the 5U, where you can expand up to 512 remote points, 64 or 128,000 programming steps, a maximum of 4 pulse strain commands, and 34 nanosecond scan time. And there also is our comparison on the 5S to the other modules. Only up to 8 modules that you can expand. That's simple PLC communication. Only up to 8, communicate up to 8 different PLCs. Expand with only up to 8 stations. And for Modbus, you can expand up to 32 stations, Modbus TCP. Some of the standard functionality that's available, the same as on the rest of the FX5 family, can do data logging, file transfer function, and web server function. Obviously, for the 5S, for data logging and web server functionality, you need to purchase the adapter for the SD card, because you need an SD card to run the services off. The FX5S CPU supports CC-Link I Field Basic. On the servo side, makes it very easy to incorporate to the Melt Servo Jet or the MRJ5 and can connect straight onto the CPU, no additional hardware required. So with the launch, we've negotiated some special pricing with Germany, and on the 50, which will give you 16 inputs, 14 outputs, starting from 8,600 Rand. On the that's 50 to 40, starting from 11,000 Rand, and 60, 13,400 Rand, which are extremely good prices for a compact PLC, comparing to some of the competitors in the market. And the special we will run up to the end of December this year. And that is from my side.